Hi, this is Marguerite from MoveToTacoma.com, and I'm here today with my colleague Jana to talk about the neighborhoods around JBLM, Joint Base Lewis McChord. So yes. I get a lot of contacts on the website from people who are being PCS to JBLM, and they're like, where do I live? Like, what are the differences between all the neighborhoods? And I've lived in a few of them, but not all of them. And I feel like not only do you live in DuPont, which is right by JBLM, not only are you yourself a military spouse and have experienced that PCS journey, but you're also a real estate agent who's worked with zillions of people doing this. So you have a lot of insight. And I wanted to talk today just about what are the options if you want to live close to base, and how do you choose between them?
So I think the first place you start is where you will be on Joint Base Lewis McChord.
Oh, right, because it's not like one spot.
Yeah,
great.
Yes, so it's a pretty big installation, and there's a lot of access points. So where you work and what you do on the post is a good starting point for where you should live, because that will greatly affect your commute time. A lot of people that are working on the north side of JBLM or on the kind of the Air Force side will look at places in Gig Harbor, Tacoma, University Place, because it's a pretty easy commute on that side. If they are living on North Fort, which is the Army side, but it's the North Fort side of JBLM, then DuPont, Steilacoom, Lakewood are all really easy commutes, and it's still a fairly easy commute from Tacoma. And then even South Lacey and Olympia are pretty easy to get there. If they're working on the airfield on the Army side, then Yelm and Roy are really quick and easy commutes. So it's just a matter of where you're working and what kind of commute you want, and then the community that you would like to be in.
It's so interesting because as somebody who's never lived on base, I've been to the base, but I've never lived there. I wouldn't have even thought Gig Harbor is like a feasible commute, but it would be if you're at the north end of the base.
Yes. And a lot of people that work at Madigan.
Right.
It's about 20 minutes from Gig Harbor into the Madigan gate, so that's a really easy commute, and you're going against traffic at that point.
Perfect.
So you're kind of going the opposite direction of all the people that are stuck in traffic. So
what is about, if you're going into Thurston County, if we're going south, what's about the farthest south that is really comfortable commuting-wise to get to the base, even if you're at the south end, if you're working at the south end of the base?
So if you're at the south end, Olympia, just prior to getting to really the downtown part of Olympia is about as far as you want to get for a comfortable commute. Okay. Any further than that, you'll get caught up in that traffic that is coming on and off at 104 and 105, and it lengthens things a bit.
So just to understand, in the morning, the tightness of the traffic is going northbound, and in the evening, the traffic jams are kind of going southbound.
Typically.
Okay, that's great. So if you want the reverse commute, you'll live up north and go south and come home. Okay, this is good information.
It's good. And it's also good to know that there are several gates that are open. We have our 24-hour gates at JBLM, but then we also have quite a few that are open just in the morning or in the evening and it's all designed around that traffic pattern. So
makes sense.
You don't have to go on I-5 if you live in Lacey and Olympia. You can pop around and pop in one of the side gates and come out a side gate later on. So
perfect. So depending on where in the country people are relocating to JBLM, sometimes there is some real sticker shock. Obviously, if you're coming from Hawaii, we're going to feel like a bargain to you. But a lot of folks coming from Texas or Arkansas, they're just like, oh my gosh, it is pricey up there. So what do you recommend as the most affordable neighborhoods around JBLM? Where do you suggest people look if they're trying to be at the low end of the price spectrum for Thurston and Pierce County?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the low end, a lot of times there are some really great options in and around Yelm, in and around Lacey, even some pockets into Olympia. Lakewood has some really good affordable options. So there's quite a few places that are close by that you can stay on that lower price point side.
Now, I grew up in Spanaway, and I remember a lot of military families in Spanaway, and I believe we go through the East Gate when we commute to the base.
East Gate is actually Yelm, between Yelm and Roy.
Okay.
What is the name of that gate?
It's right off Military Road.
It is. It is right off Military Road. I think, well, they renamed it a couple years ago because they built the Freedom Expressway that connects the Air Force side to the Army side, and they renamed some stuff, and so I don't know the new name.
But that is also, so Spanaway,
Parkland, Puyallup. There could be some traffic if you're going all the way to Puyallup,
right?
Just because those roads are kind of small and it can get a little heavy. But
Puyallup would be another one of those areas where you'd have access to more like housing development type homes.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yes. Well, if people are thinking they want some property, but they want to be close to JBLM, I feel like this is something that's been coming up a lot in conversations. Like, I don't want a horrible commute, but I'm willing to drive if I can have some land. Where do you usually recommend that they evaluate?
So to have a little bit of land and still have a decent commute to JBLM, there are quite a few pockets in Spanaway, in Yelm, in the unincorporated parts of Olympia that bump right up against Yelm and then up against Lacey on the other side. There's really quite a few areas where you can get a little bit of land. And then there are even more areas. DuPont has some areas that have, you can get an acre. So not a ton of land.
I had no idea there was an acre in DuPont anywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's some good options there.
That's great. Well, is there anything else you want to offer as advice for folks who are, trying to figure out how to make this relocation and figure out where they're going to be happiest?
I think First thing I would suggest is take a look at what you want in a community. Do you want to be able to walk to the closest coffee shop? Do you want an option of 3 to 4 different grocery stores? What kind of shopping and dining do you want nearby? What are the amenities you want? Do you want to be really close to a park, really close to a trail? And then find the places that have those areas, and find a great agent that knows the different areas that can tell you, if you really want to be near trails, here are some areas that have a lot of trails. Or if you want a Trader Joe's, here's the neighborhoods with a fast commute to Trader Joe's. So,
well, and I will say, as an agent who has no military background and has not really lived, other than Spanaway, has not really lived close to base, it is a tremendous advantage to find a real estate agent who does live close to base, who has a military background, who really can help you assess that situation. Because working, when you're relooking from far away, you don't realize that an agent from Seattle trying to sell you a house at JBLM does not have a lot of knowledge. But, if you're coming from, Texas, it might feel like they're really close, and they're really not. So find a local expert like Jana. That's my tip for you.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Move to Tacoma.com.